And here's House Speaker Philip Gunn. Let's listen into what he has to say right now.
In our state, this is not the result of outside influences. The hearts of the people in that chamber behind me were changed on this matter. And over the last 5 years, like you mentioned, we have begun to see an increase in number of people who embrace this change. And their hearts were changed. They became convinced within themselves that this was the right thing to do. And today you saw a vote of 90 to 92 to 24 or whatever it was, that incredibly positive, incredibly overwhelming. And so that's what brought us to this point. People's hearts have changed. That is for the better of the state of Mississippi. Now we can move forward in unity.
Speaker, there are a lot of people's minds who haven't changed. There's been a lot of outcry on social media. People feel like they've been betrayed. People feel like politicians went back on their word. What do you say to the folks out there who are still struggling with this, specifically between you and your fellow Republican colleagues who voted for it?
Well, many of I do not judge those people who voted no today. They each had various reasons for why. Some of them had made campaign commitments. Some of them had made promises to stick to their word. I commend them for that. They are the ones who stuck to their promises. That's not to say that those who voted yes went back on any promise. A lot of things have changed since the election last year. We've seen a whole host of events that have brought attention to this situation. But I would also remind people that no one has taken away any flag from anyone. That's the beauty of America. You can fly any flag you want to fly. And for those who still want to fly this flag, they can still fly this flag. No one says you have to take it down out of your yard, you can't put it on your house, or you can't do whatever you want to with it. So I think people need to embrace that reality, because we do live in America, because you do have the right to free speech. You can fly whatever flag you want. All we did today is say this no longer officially represents all the people of the state of Mississippi. So I think people who are in that camp need to realize they can still fly their flag, what they deem to be their flag.
Have you talked with the governor this weekend?
No, sir.
Mr. Speaker, we've been hearing from opponents who they try to sabotage the vote, and we could maybe go on for, I don't know, for an indeterminate amount of time without a new state flag. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we will just continue to search for a flag that all people can unify behind. The bill that we passed allows for that opportunity. Yes, sir.
Doesn't seem to be embracing this way with enthusiasm. He wanted this to just barely be a referendum in November, and just kind of said, whatever happens outside the bill. Was his leadership missing on this issue?
I'm sorry, Gerald, I didn't understand you.
Was his leadership missing on this issue? The governor, he wanted a referendum on the ballot without any legislative action. To put it this way, was his leadership on this issue missing? Because he said a couple days ago, whatever happens, happens. If there's 2/3 outside, because I can't do anything more. Was his leadership missing on this, do you think?
Well, all I can do is worry about my chamber. I have been consumed with what's going on down here, trying to assemble the votes to make this happen today. And I'm very grateful that the people on my end of the building decided to lead out on this issue. We, of course, have to work with the Senate, but we told the Senate that they assured us they had the votes. We would be glad to take the first step, and we did yesterday. And we told them we would be glad to bring forward a bill, and we did today. So I want to commend the people on my end of the building who had the courage to step up and lead out on this issue. I want to commend the senators who, too, had the courage to stand up and vote on this issue. And I look forward to the governor fulfilling his promise of signing the bill should it reach his desk. And I have every confidence that that will happen.
Mr. Speaker, the bill you passed today says that whatever the flag is has to feature "In God We Trust." What do you have to say to people that think that that's a conflict of church and state?
Well, it's our national motto, first of all. It's on the money that each of them spends. It's our state seal. And so that is, the decision's been made for quite some time.
Just some clarity, so the 15 days, it's after the passage, after the governor signs it, or after it passes this building?
But it's not effective until the governor signs it. So what you would have is, we are, of course, assuming that the Senate will pass it. We are assuming that that will be done today. We got immediate release. Procedurally, y'all don't care about this, but the bill has now been released to go to the Senate. They can take it up this afternoon if they wish. Barring someone holding it on a motion to reconsider, it will be released to the governor's office today. If it is held on a motion, it would stay over till tomorrow. They would have to dispose that motion, and it could be on the governor's desk as early as tomorrow.